you had a good night's sleep, April. With Mommy.
I just peek in to see if you're interested in breakfast. I thought you might still be sleeping.
No, I've been up for hours.
April, what's the matter?
I just spent the most miserable night of my life, that's all.
Okay, well, maybe a cup of coffee would help.
No.
Cream and sugar, right?
Yeah, thanks.
You know, it's not at all unusual for someone to feel uncomfortable when they've spent a night in a strange place.
I just never thought in a million years that this would happen.
You'd spend the night in your mother's home.
It's not where I spend the night, Margo. I just can't believe that I spent the night away from my husband.
Come on. Now, it's not as serious as all that. Well, look at it this way. You just came to visit your mother and you decided to stay over.
There's more to it than that, you know it.
No, of course there is. And I do know. But it isn't as if it were the first time you two were ever apart.
No. And that's what upsets me.
Oh, darling.
All the other times that Draper and I were apart, they were situations out of our control. Now here, this was my decision.
Hey, come on. Now, sometimes that's good for a husband, you know?
Do you know how I got through all those nights I spent in prison? I used to lie there in my bunk and stare at the ceiling. Think about how much I missed Draper and how much I wanted to be with him. Funny, I guess the nights were the easiest time for me in jail. It's the only time I could escape from my cell and be with Draper, even if it was only in fantasy. That's why I swore that we were ever reunited, then we wouldn't spend 1 minute more than necessary apart from each other.
I know you love each other very much.
Yeah, and look what I've gone and done. I've chosen to spend the night away from him.
Hey, come on now. Separation sometimes can be very healthy for a marriage. Now, look, it gives you both the chance to sit back and think about exactly where your relationship is. Listen to me. My goodness, I'm full of marital advice, and here, I'm the newlywed. Look,
I know why it happened. I mean, it was all stubbornness. Draper called last night and so angry and demanded that I come home. Well, I just did the exact opposite.
It's a woman's prerogative. I mean, we still do have a few left despite women's slip.
Yeah, well, then why do I feel so rotten?
Darling, the last thing in the world that I want is to come between you and Draper.
I know that.
Yeah, but I'm afraid Draper doesn't. I really think that he thinks I want you apart, and
it's not going to happen.
No, of course not. But if we're going to have any sort of a relationship, I've got to find a way to make Draper approve of me.
Well, I like to believe that he'll grow to like you.
I'm not so sure. At this moment, I think Draper would have preferred it if I'd bought a television station in Walla Walla, Washington, or Albuquerque, or Warmdale Prison.
Margo, don't talk like that.
Look, we cannot avoid the obvious, can we?
Margo, Draper swears that gun was delivered anonymously and he had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yes, but he made very sure to find out it was my gun.
Margo, he had to do that.
Okay. But it just seems a very odd coincidence that directly after the burglary, the only piece of property that's recovered is my pistol and that it winds up in Draper's hands.
Well, I can't explain that.
Darling, do you realize that sometimes the police department will stage a burglary in order to uncover what they consider evidence?
Margo, that is illegal, and any evidence that they get cannot be used against anyone.
Sure, if you can prove that it was obtained illegally, but if it just happens to turn up, yeah.
I don't want to accept that explanation. I don't think Chief Marceau would ever let anything like that go on. But I do want to let you know that, I believe that you had nothing to do with Wade Meacham's murder. Thank you, April.
I don't know why we keep going off this list of stuff missing from Will Rose's pharmacy. Those pills must have hit the streets 10 minutes after the robbery.
And you want to know why the chief keeps asking me if you're sticking to proper procedure?
Well, my mind just isn't on this case right now.
I know where your mind is. It's down in ballistic.
All they've got to do is fire one little bullet from Margo's gun into that little box of theirs and find out if it matches the slug that killed Meacham.
Look, I'm sure they're working on it as fast as they can.
Well, it would be really nice if we could get the results before court convenes this morning.
Oh, you think we might be able to save Winter from another day on trial?
Look, if Margo's gun turns out to be the murder weapon, I'm sure that Draper's going to have no problem at all getting the charges against Winter.
I wouldn't count on it.
Steve, Margo had just as much motive to kill Wade as Winter did, and as much opportunity.
Yeah, but she's not the only one.
Well, I don't believe Raven killed him.
Well, why not? She was with Wade that night, and she was another one of his blackmail victims.
Look, I lived with Raven for a while, and as self-centered and as conniving as she is, she just doesn't have it in her to commit a murder.
Oh, so if it were up to you, we'd just forget all about the ballistics result, and we'd just go down to Margo's apartment and arrest her, huh?
Okay, I admit I'm being a little bit too gung-ho.
Look, even if it turns out that Margo's gun was used to kill Wade Meacham, it doesn't mean Winter is going to be off the hook.
Why not?
Because the gun was wiped clean of fingerprints. Now, just because Margo owns it doesn't mean she fired it.
Well, it seems pretty obvious to me.
Well, it strikes me as just a little bit coincidental that the gun should show up right when it did.
Okay. Whoever pulled that job must have been reading in the papers about the murder, right? They had to have gotten rid of the gun because they didn't want to get caught with it because they would have thought they were going to get implicated.
Wait a minute. Try this on for size. Maybe Meacham's killer was behind the break-in. Maybe the real motive for the crime was not the jewels, but for the gun, to make sure there were no fingerprints.
He sent the gun to Draper to cast suspicion on Margo?
What better way to take the heat off?
Yeah, but why not leave well enough alone and let Winter take the rap?
Well, maybe you want to take the rap.
Wait a minute, are you saying that Winter had something to do with stealing the gun?
No, I'm just theorizing.
Well, Steve, that's ridiculous. I mean, Winter's not going to go out and hire a bunch of burglars.
Wait a minute, I didn't say she went to Margo's apartment and stole the gun necessarily.
What?
Look, Winter was Margo's personal assistant. Now, maybe she saw the gun in her office or in her purse.
Oh, no, Steve. Winter going to Margo's to steal the gun to kill Wade? Come on.
I just don't want you to get your hopes up.
Well, good morning, team. I bring a breakfast and news from ballistics.
Now, what'd they come up with?
Well, they were just starting the test when I looked in, so we should get word about an hour.
Well, I'm going to go down there.
Hey, Red, listen, why don't you just have some coffee and let those guys do their work, huh?
Look, I just want to be there when we get the results. Thanks for the coffee. See you later.
So, has anyone told the lady that we found her gun?
No, I guess she should be notified. Hey, Calvin, would you like...
Oh, no. That honor is all yours.
Oh, thanks. Miss Huntington.
Yes, who's this?
This is Guthrie. I have some news about the burglary in your apartment.
Oh, I see. Did you catch them?
No, not yet. I called to inform you we've recovered a possession of yours.
Oh, really? That gold brooch I told you about, I hope.
No. What we have isn't on the list of missing items you gave us.
Oh, yes. And what did you find?
A gun. We ran the serial numbers through the computer. You know it's registered to you?
Well, I had no idea that was taken as well.
You gave us a very detailed list. How come you didn't know the gun was gone?
Detective, you told me to be concerned about the valuables that were missing. It never occurred to me that I should even look to see if the gun was missing.
Miss Huntington, a firearm is a prime target for a thief.
Oh, now that I know that, may I ask how you came across it?
Well, the fact that we have it is really all that matters.
Yeah, Well, when will I be able to come down and retrieve it?
To be very honest with you, Miss Huntington, we may not be able to return it to you.
Look here, young man, I can show you the ownership papers. I can show you the registration on that gun.
At the moment, the gun is being ran through our ballistics lab, and the results of that will tell us what will happen next.
And why are you doing that?
It's a standard procedure for the police to test any firearms that come into our possession.
Oh, for what purpose?
Well, it's possible that the gun was used in connection with another crime.
Oh, well, what crime, may I ask?
Well, no crime in particular. It's just that, well, it's a standard police
Don't give me that, Mr. Guthrie. I know exactly what you are implying. You are implying that it had something to do with the murder of Wade Meacham.
Miss Huntington will let you know the disposition of your possession as soon as the tests are completed.
When will that be?
In about an hour.
Terrific. Then I'm coming right down there and repossessing my property.
Wait a minute, Mrs. Dorn. I'm afraid it may be held as material evidence.
The role of Winter Austin is now being played by Stephanie Braxton.
Who is it? It's us. Miles and Nicole. Miles. Nicole, come on in. Look, I'm just about ready. Look, can I get you a cup of coffee?
No.
Oh, we brought some for you.
Listen, traffic is a little heavy this morning, so we can't take too much time with it.
Oh, I have absolutely no objection to their starting without me.
Well, I think the judge might not approve.
Listen, I really appreciate the two of you giving me a lift to the courthouse.
Oh, it's nothing. I heard Mike say that he might not be able to give you a ride this morning.
Well, I'm not. Carr and Scott's only client. Mike scheduled 2 meetings before court even convenes this morning.
Oh, we've been able to clear our schedule, so we're going to be able to be in court this week, at least for the morning sessions.
Look, I know newlyweds are supposed to be together all the time, only not at a murder trial. I'll take all the moral support I can get, however.
This trial's been rough on you, hasn't it?
Oh, I feel pretty naked in that courtroom. My life is an open book.
The prosecutor, Cliff Nelson, he goes right for the jugular.
Well, listen, it's only his job, you know?
Yes, I just wish he wouldn't get such a kick out of putting the nails into my coffin.
Well, this is his first major case. He's trying to make a name for himself.
Yeah, by dragging mine through the mud.
Now, look, Winter, when this is all over, you're going to be completely exonerated.
Oh, I wish I had your confidence.
Well, Mike and Draper are doing a very good job of defending you.
Yeah? They're certainly making bricks out of straw, right?
Well, they're finding every opportunity to show a reasonable doubt.
Listen, they scored a lot of points when they got one of those Berry sisters to pick out Raven Jameson instead of you.
Absolutely. Raven admitted that she saw Wade that night, and she certainly had enough reason to hate that man.
You know, I think that's about the only time that I have smiled during this whole trial. Hearing about how Raven got suckered by Wade.
You know, the surprising thing to me were those revelations about Logan Swift.
It's bad enough that my whole future's on the line in this trial. Now Logan may lose everything just because of me.
Oh, I heard a rumor about that this morning, that the mayor is going to issue a statement about Logan.
Oh, poor Logan. He's probably going to be the next one on trial.
According to what I hear, he's just going to get a reprimand. I don't know. Accordingly to what they said, the disagreement that Logan entered with Wade, it may have been a little bit unethical, but it didn't actually violate any laws.
I hope that's true, Nicole.
Well, we'll find out when we get to the courthouse and see whether or not Logan is sitting at the prosecution table.
Well, I'll certainly feel a lot better if he is there to keep that boy wonder of his in check.
Well, if you feel the need for any moral support, just turn around. That's why we're there.
Well, the two of you won't have to be there very long. The prosecution is so certain about this case, they haven't bothered to call any minor witnesses. As Draper sees it, the thing is about over.
Well, what about defense witnesses?
Well, unless plans change, I guess I'll be the only one called to the stand.
Well, I'm sure you're the only one they need.
All you can do is tell the truth and hope the best.
I'm just a little worried about being cross-examined by Cliff Nelson. You see, I had a run-in with him once before the trial started, and I sort of lost my cool during that interview.
This time you're going to have Draper there to protect you.
Yeah.
Well, we got to go. Come on.
Oh, excuse me. Hello?
Winter?
Who is this?
You alone?
What do you want?
You heard me. Are you alone?
No. As a matter of fact, I'm not. Now, what is this all about?
Sure wasn't a wrong number?
No, it couldn't have been. He used my name.
You have no idea who it was.
No.
Well, I do. You know, it was probably some crank who found your name in the directory. I'm surprised you hadn't had more calls like that.
I did. Right after this whole thing broke, the news about my arrest. But I had my name taken out of the directory. It's probably still in the old one.
What did he say?
Well, nothing really. He just asked me if I was alone.
Well, you see, the only thing that surprises me is usually these creeps on the telephone call at night, not in the morning.
Well, listen, it was probably just some enterprising reporter wanting a statement.
Oh, no, I don't think this was a reporter.
Well, listen, just don't let it bother you, all right? The only thing I'd advise you to do is have your number changed completely.
Yeah, that probably would be a good idea. Oh, well, I guess it's too late now anyway. My next number is liable to be on my shirt.
Come on, you don't be so pessimistic.
You're going to be fine.
Sure.
Well, come on, let's go.
I forgot to lock my door. Oh, for the elevator.
Okay.
Let's go, Winters. Undisputed.
Yeah, I'm coming. Sorry.
To see you here this morning.
Well, I do live here.
I'm glad you still consider this your home.
Thought you might have changed the locks.
Thought about it, but I didn't have time.
Do you eat breakfast yet? Want some eggs?
No, thank you. I have eaten.
Smells like something's been...
Yeah, I've gotten very used to your well-done toast.
Yeah, I can tell you're crazy about it.
Actually, I made myself some eggs Benedict this morning. Fresh hollandaise sauce with a truffle on top.
Oh?
What did you have to eat at Margo's? Patty de foie grass?
No. As a matter of fact, we had breast of a guinea hen and glass.
How'd you sleep?
Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't sleep a wink.
Yeah, neither did I.
I just spent the worst night of my life, including all the time in prison. All I did was stare at the ceiling.
Yeah, when I got tired of the ceiling, I stared out the window. Do you think Mr. Swanson opens his bakery at 4 a.m.? Draper. April, what the hell are we doing to each other?
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It was all my fault.
No, it's my fault, too. I goaded you into it.
I shouldn't have let you goad me, Draper. I was just so upset about the stupid gun business that I was so afraid that Margo might be blamed for the murder.
April, that's Margo's problem, not ours.
Draper, it's my problem, too. I have feelings for Margo. She's my mother.
Look, I don't blame you for going over there. She had a right to know about that gun.
Draper, she doesn't understand anything about it. Not only the gun being stolen, but that it was sent to you.
Does she still think I'm one of the robbers?
No.
Well, I can tell that she still does. Maybe you do, too.
Don't be ridiculous.
April, you've got to believe me. I am not deliberately trying to hurt Margo.
Draper, I do believe you. But I'm just so torn between the two of you. I want you to win that case, you know that. But I just can't bear the thought that you might be doing it at my mother's expense.
I'm not trying to do that, April.
I know that. Maybe if I'm developing feelings of love for my mother, that doesn't mean I'm going to love you any less.
Are you listening to yourself? Did you hear what you just said?
What?
That's the first time you ever used the word love in connection with Margo.
Well, unusual for people to love their mothers.
Do you really know her well enough to love her?
I care about her.
You don't have to love some, care about them.
All I know is the next time I might be walking into that courtroom, it'll be for the a murder trial and my mother will be on trial. Draper, I don't think I could stand that.
Look, April, there's no sense worrying about something which may never happen.
You don't know what it's like, Draper. No one knows what it's like unless they've been through it themselves.
But that's all behind you.
Well, it might just be beginning for Margo. Do you know what it's like to go down to a police station and be fingerprinted and have them talk about bail and have lawyers talking about your future like you're nothing? I wouldn't wish that kind of nightmare on anyone, let alone my own mother. It just can't happen, Draper. It can't.
Now listen to me, April. If I can establish a reasonable doubt in Winter's favor and get her acquitted, the search for Meacham's killer is going to start all over again. Now, if that gun is Margo's, then... Yeah, hello.
Oh, Draper, I'm glad I caught you at home.
Yeah, Steve, what's up?
I just got the ballistics from the technicians. I thought you'd like to know.
Oh, come on. What were the results?
The markings on the bullet we fired from Margo's gun didn't match up. Margo's gun was not used to kill Wade Meacham.
Draper, what?